Here's the truth behind those super frustrating 30-minute naps that your baby is taking almost every single day, if not every single day. Sometimes your baby genuinely needs more sleep, and sometimes there is absolutely nothing that you need to fix. So you put your baby down for a nap, you finally sit down, you have the monitor in one hand, you maybe pee alone for the first time all freaking day, and then 30 minutes later, they're wide awake. And I know this is one of the most frustrating parts of parenting, especially in those early days. And I think that the first thing that we need to talk about is that 30-minute naps are not necessarily a problem. Frustrating, yes. A problem, not always. I see so many parents get stuck in this cycle where their baby naps for 30 minutes and then they immediately think, okay, what did I do wrong? Was it the wrong sleep sack? Was it the wrong temperature? Is their room too bright? What do I need to change? How do I get them back to sleep? And then suddenly your entire day spirals and turns into you just trying to figure out how to fix that one nap. And sometimes, yes, there are things that we can look at to try to help your baby get longer naps if they are still clearly exhausted. But other times, especially with younger babies, a 30-minute nap is something that can be completely normal. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the biggest reasons that your baby might be waking after 30 minutes for every single nap, and more importantly, help you figure out when you actually need to do something about it and when you can just move on with your day. So let's start with this first one because I think this is something that parents really need to understand. Sleep looks different for a 4-month-old than it does for a 7-month-old. And there is a biological reason for that. Until your baby is around 6 months of age, and of course, some babies have this happen a little bit earlier and some a little bit later, but until they are around that age, they have not figured out how to connect their sleep cycles in the same way that they do whenever they are older. So newborn sleep is immature and it is different than adult sleep. Babies spend a lot of time in active sleep cycles, which if you've been around here for a bit, you've heard me talk about a lot. And those can make your baby look surprisingly awake or noisy when they're actually asleep. Their sleep cycles are also relatively short, especially in comparison to adult sleep cycles and the sleep cycles that you'll see with your baby after about 6 months of age. As a baby transitions between sleep cycles, it is a lot easier for them to wake up fully and not be able to get back to sleep. And that typically happens between about 30 and 45 minutes, which is why you're constantly seeing that waking happen at that point into your baby's nap. So before about 6 months of age, your baby's sleep cycles and circadian rhythms are still maturing. So you shouldn't expect every single nap to consolidate into a long, predictable 1 hour, 2 hours, or however long you're expecting. 20 to 40-minute naps can absolutely be developmentally normal, particularly in this younger age, whenever they are, again, newborns up to about age 6 months. A short nap doesn't automatically mean that your baby has a sleep problem or that there's something that you need to fix. But an important distinction here is actually how your baby is waking up from the nap, which takes us to our next point. Not every nap needs to be rescued, but we do need to be able to identify when a nap might need to be elongated or when we might need to be able to make up some of that sleep that is missing. So one of the big indicators of whether that nap was actually long enough or if your baby needs to sleep longer is how they are waking up from their nap. Are they waking up happy, cooing, smiling, giggling, or are they waking up screaming, crying, upset, frustrated, cranky? If they're waking up happy and content, that's a good indicator. They actually got enough sleep, most likely. They're okay. Let's move on to the next nap. If they're waking up screaming, crying, upset, that is a good indicator that they did not get enough sleep and most likely they want to be back asleep. So in that case, we can do some things to try to elongate that nap and try to get a little bit more sleep for your baby at that point in time. Something that you can try out is doing shush-pat. You can look up, I'm sure you can find a million different videos on this, and I will do one myself as well. But shush-pat is essentially shushing and patting your baby and helping them have that comfort that they need to help them fall back to sleep. This doesn't always work, and I don't want you sitting there shushing and patting them for 45 minutes. You can try this for about 15 to 20 minutes. If nothing is changing and your baby is still upset or they are just simply not showing any signs of falling back to sleep, then we want to take them out of the crib, take a break, feed them, do whatever we need to do, play with them for a little bit, and then we can try again at the next nap time. So always set a boundary around how long we're actually going to try this whenever you are deciding to try to extend that nap, so that you don't feel like you're trapped sitting there forever trying, if at the end of the day it's not going to work. Now, again, even if your baby took like 20, 30 minutes and you think that it wasn't long enough, but they're waking up happy and they're completely content, I would not try to extend that nap. I would go ahead and get them out of their crib and let's move on with our day. And then again, we can try again at the next nap time. So that brings us to our next point. I don't want you spending your entire day obsessing over naps. If you're doing that and you find yourself stuck in that cycle of obsessing over what went wrong, or why did that nap not work as well as the last one, or why is my baby not sleeping as much as they should be, then you are just spinning your wheels, stressing out about something that you really have minimal control over. So baby sleeps for 30 minutes, you spend another 45 trying to get them back to sleep, and then you finally get them out of their bed. Then you're freaking out about the next nap, thinking this next nap is going to be ruined. And you're watching the clock like a hawk, trying to see when it's time for you to try to put them back down again. And then maybe that next nap doesn't go well either. And so we repeat that cycle, and you're literally spending your entire day just focusing on trying to get your baby to freaking sleep. And that is not enjoyable for anybody. And so instead of asking yourself, how can I make this nap longer? Or how can I make this work better? Instead, I want you to look at, how are my baby's naps affecting the rest of our day? And then reminding yourself again, if your baby is waking up happy after 30 minutes, sometimes the best move is to just get on with your day and adjust the next sleep opportunity, rather than spending an hour trying to rescue that first nap that maybe didn't need rescuing in the first place. A short nap isn't automatically a sleep problem, but a short nap that is throwing your entire day into chaos and making you a complete stress ball, that is the thing that I would actually want to solve here. So if your baby is clearly tired, try utilizing shush-pat to get them back to sleep, but put a time limit on it. I would say about 20 minutes. And that is only if they are clearly still tired, which again, they're showing that sign through crying or being upset. If extending the nap is not working after about 20 to 30 minutes max, then go ahead and reset, leave the room, move forward with the day, and focus instead on making the next nap the best that it can possibly be, rather than chasing that missed nap or that short nap that you already had. There is so much nuance whenever it comes to baby and toddler sleep, and that is why it's so important to work with somebody who understands the ins and outs of it and is able to look at your specific child and what their needs are and tell you exactly what to do to fix whatever the challenges are that you're facing. Rachel on my team has been working with families for over 11 years and has literally worked with 4,000 families herself. So she has seen it all, and she is absolutely incredible. So Sawyer is a great example of this. Whenever they came to us, Sawyer was 6 months old. He was taking basically non-existent naps. And if anything, they were up to about 30 minutes, and then he was waking up crying. And mom just couldn't figure out how to get him back to sleep or figure out how to lengthen those naps. After working with Rachel, literally within the first couple of days, he was taking a full hour-and-a-half long nap consistently. Mom was completely mind blown, but we are not, because this is exactly what we do. So if you are ready to get support with sleep and figure out what exactly you need to do differently, click the link in the description below to book a call with Rachel. She will chat with you, make sure it's a good fit, and let you know how we can help. So a super common challenge that families are facing typically whenever they're also facing these short naps is night weaning, and how to know if your baby is actually hungry, whether they actually need the feed or not, and if you should be feeding all night, every night. So I would recommend that you go watch our hunger or habit video that is going to break that down for you and help you understand whether your baby is waking out of true need for a feeding or if they are actually waking out of habit, and what to do about it if so. And before I let you go, if you have ever had the thought of, I wonder if I could do this, I wonder if I could become a sleep consultant and support families and help them get better sleep and make great money while being able to stay home with my kids and have much more flexibility in my life, I want to invite you to our $7 sleep consultant community for women who are interested in exploring becoming a sleep consultant. We have so many amazing resources in there to help you explore this path and determine if it might be a good fit for you. So hopefully I will see you there, but if not, I'll see you in our next video.